test, I sort of try to make something break, run them at flat out, run the belt speed all day, and then I just go out and I come back and it's still running, and so that's
good.
Yeah, so that's how that works. But yeah, generally these you sort of go through. They'll probably only last for half a day or something like that. So it usually freezes up because it's evaporating quicker than it can produce the gas. So once it gets
as per the regulator with what I was telling you before.
Yeah. Once they start freezing up in there, they stop evaporating gas, and you end up actually it struggles to get to temperature because it can't produce enough gas to sustain it. All right, so this will always revert to the screensaver, which is on now. So when the oven is in the off position, this is the screen you'll get, and it's scrolling across there. We'll come back the other side. Press to resume. So if you press anywhere on the screen, it'll go back to your main screen. That will only come on when the oven's off. So if we turn the 3 switches on, you won't obviously get the screensaver happening. Now, you can actually do it if you want to know the time particularly. You can press your logo there and it'll come back on. You can leave it there if you like.
So what you've done now, I'll just turn the whole thing on.
It's turned on. Yeah.
Gas.
So you've got your fan, you've got your heat, and you've got your conveyor. So if you want to turn your conveyor off, you can press that one. Conveyor stops.
Yep.
Turn it back on.
That, when you hear that clicking sound, that's the ignition pad kicking in. Now it's burners on.
Yeah. It's
not letting it run up too far.
no. Actually, probably just turn it off quickly. Let's leave the fan running. Okay, so your 3 switches, your fan, heat, and belt. You need to turn them all 3 on. Obviously, you can turn the fan on like it is now, but you're not going to cook much. As soon as it's got the process. Yeah, as soon as you turn your heat switch on, it goes to this is running out. It goes to a 30-second pre-purge, which all ovens do. So after 30 seconds, it then goes through its ignition process. So the 30 seconds is there with all ovens. I think they call it a sweep time or purge time. And it's designed, if there's any unburnt gas in the oven, it dissipates it. So that's the theory behind that. Now, if you want to change your, I'll run it with the gas off. Now, what will happen now if I turn the gas off and I go and turn the oven on, it will count. There's a little count in the corner there. You're not really meant to see that, but it'll count to 120. If the oven doesn't heat up to 100 in 120 seconds, it'll come up with a check temperature error on the display. So,
given if the heat was on now,
yep.
If the gas was working,
Yep.
it would do it under 120 seconds, heat up to the right temperature.
Yep. And you won't get an error.
Now, is it set to a temperature now?
Yep. If you want to change your temperature, you press the temperature button here. Yep. It goes to your temperature screen.
Okay.
So that's the actual oven temperature. That's your set temperature. So it's set to 250, and you can hold it to go to 265 if you wanted to.
What's recommended for these?
You'd probably be between 250 and 270. It depends what your product is. So
They should give make the same product.
The staff come and change it at all speed times.
Yeah.
Temperature times. We don't with the Excel.
Yeah.
Never have.
Yeah.
So
No, actually, once it's set up,
we get a proper temperature.
Yeah.
Jason will fart around these and shit.
Yeah. As I say, your settings there get committed to the EEPROM. So when you go home, even if your power goes off, it still remembers that.
explain to him what an EEPROM is.
Yeah, well, an EEPROM is on the MCU, the main control unit, and it's an electronic erasable read-only memories. Basically, it's an electronic. So the screen is constantly sending information to the MCU, and it says, "Hey, I'm on." And yeah, they basically communicate. There's two units: the screen and the MCU. So if this screen fails for whatever reason, the MCU says, "Hey, I can't see you. What's going on?" And it'll shut the oven down. The arrow's back. So that's your temperature setting, and that's your speed.
Yep.
Now your belt. Yep. Your belt speed. So this is in a numeric number, like on an XLT, it'll say 7 minutes or 6.5. This one here, it was a little bit problematic to actually get that to function. So the way I got around that is put a numeric number, And if you press the information key there, number 42, it is 6 minutes 20.
Oh, good. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Which, once you set your belt speed, it's set, and you don't have to. So I figured with this, with a Lincoln, you set it 6.5 or 7 minutes or whatever you're at, and it stays there. Yeah. So that's how you work it out. So if you don't know what 42 is, go into that information screen, and it's in here, and that's your setting. It's only got from 810 till 610. Anything out that, well, you're not really going to cook outside those parameters. You can actually go to right up to 100 if you wanted to, and it speeds the belt up. So
to put those in, can you do it remotely, or can you actually do it from the screen?
From which?
If I want to add a 12-minute bake time because I'm doing
Oh, I see. No, the user can't put that in.
Can you do it?
I can do that. No, I can actually set. Well, being up there, I can send a file that you can upload into it with a memory stick. You plug the memory stick in there.
So the question I have is, we had an issue with this. We can't resolve it.
Yep.
We could ring you. I'd have to come up. Is that on the phone? No.
You can tell me what that maintenance screen says.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually had another one of these I sold, which that came into play.
Yeah.
The actual ignition module was playing up in this thing, and it would break down on a Saturday night. And of course, I'd come there and like, there's nothing wrong with it. What's going on? Yeah, so I'd go away and he'd ring me. So I said, tell you what, when it's doing it, video this maintenance screen and show me what's going on. And straight off, bang, I knew what it was and changed the ignition module. All good. So all my 35 odd years of doing these, that's an important thing for me. Yeah. All right. So you happy with that?
Yeah,
there's an emergency stop switch there as well for the belt. Make sure that I'm not sure whether I'm going to keep on with that, because if that stopped and you go out, no matter where that switch is, the belt won't work. So if someone's accidentally pressed that switch for whatever reason, you go, the belt doesn't work, what's going on? Go in there and check that is on. All right. And now your belt's stuck. You'd probably never use it, to be honest. So, I mean, if you have a problem with a belt, you're not going to go into there and start mucking around pressing buttons. You'll just whack that, and so it goes off. So you can access the temperature through there if you want, or through there. Same with the belt. There's your belt there, or there. Same thing. You'll notice just on there that flashed. See if we can do that again. See that check temp? So that's one of the errors that will come up when there's no gas. And there's a few errors. If the temperature probe fails, there'll be an error. It'll say
that will flash up on the main screen.
Yeah, it'll come up in here as well. It'll be a yellow indicator, like that's F20. The other one is F10 if there's a temperature probe fault.
So all he has to do is get on the phone and say, I've got an F20 fault, and you'll go, okay,
yeah,
I'll send you back up.
Those particular errors will also show up, actually in this version. I'm not sure if they do. I don't think they do in this version. But anyway, they'll show up in there. And so you'll also get wait temp low. When the oven is ready, it'll say ready across there. And when it's cooling down, so at the end of the night when you shut the oven off, same with most ovens, it'll have a 15-minute cool down, and it'll say it in there, cool down active. We won't do it now because
Take that long to cool down.
most ovens, new ovens, they set it to about 90 degrees as a cool down, and it used to take 40 minutes for the oven to cool down. I got around that. I just changed it to 118, which is a bit higher, and it doesn't take anywhere near as long. So energy conscious. It's pointless running it down to 90. There's just no benefit to that. That fan motor is fairly cool by then. This filter here, you can rip that out. This is actually the same as XLT.
Yeah.
So that's important to keep that clean in here, because you don't want all the electronics to get dust on it.
I'll just take this.
Yeah, sure.